Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and this is our weekly TV news. And we did miss last week, we apologise. It was not planned, but we're here now. Scheduling happens sometimes. But we're here, and we've got news to talk about. We talk about renewals, cancellations, pilots, shows in development, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Probably not that many pilots this week, right?
No, we're in a
season.
We're in a weird part of the year where there's not really any pilot talk. This is probably the quietest period of the year for us. You know, outside of like if we happen to do them over Christmas, which we don't. We take a couple of weeks off because the news naturally dries up. But this is kind of the quietest period. But once we get to TCAs,
yeah, it's about a month away.
Yeah, something like that. So or upfronts. I always forget which way around they are. I think it's the upfronts that are next.
I think it's the upfronts. TCAs were the last one.
That was the last ones, yes. But these are we got those two. So those two big kind of conferencey, like they're putting out all their content and trying to sell it to investors and advertisers and so on. But yeah, so TV news. That's the sort of stuff we talk about. We got a bunch of news to work our way through. Before we get to the news, I will make a brief announcement. Just just about one of the other things we do. Long-time viewers of our content might also be fans of Trailer Talk, and I've been like, oh, it's been like a month since the last episode. Is it gone? In fact, someone asked me last week if we just cancelled that show, and I answered honestly that we hadn't, because we didn't. It was just we hadn't fit one in recently. We are kind of doing something different with it though. What I'm going to do now is that I'm going to make that part of the streams that I do on a weekly basis. So the regular Monday stream on Mondays, which is 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern, and noon Pacific. And then the late stream that's usually on a Tuesday or Wednesday at a much later time for different time zones. That'll now include kind of live trailer talk with just me, admittedly. So that's the one downside, is that Connor won't be there for it. But it does mean you guys can actually just give me links to trailers and I can watch them and talk about them live.
And of course, if you can't make those times for whatever reason, those are archived on YouTube, so they'll be there for you to view later.
Yeah, they'll be there for later. But it does mean that you guys get to actually give me trailers to watch, and it means that we've been having trouble fitting it into the schedule, so now we don't have to worry about that. So Trailer Talk lives on in a different form, but it still exists, kind of. So that's the plan going forward. So this Monday's stream will be the first time that happens. Because I know everyone's going to be like, oh, well, I hear about the Joker trailer. Monday. So that's the TV news though. So we'll get straight into some actual TV news. First up, Umbrella Academy got renewed for season 2 at Netflix. Good news.
Yep, not surprised, but given that we heard about its viewing figures being very high.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it.
Not without its faults, but we enjoyed season 1 and it ended on a cliffhanger, so we were pleased. Naturally,
definitely
that we're getting more of it. So that's good. Also renewed by Netflix was Afterlife. This is the Ricky Gervais comedy.
That's cool.
Which launched recently, so that's got a season 2 as well. More interestingly, though, we have some premiere dates and trailers for some shows that we've been anticipating for a while. First up, AMC has a trailer and a premiere date for NOS4A2, the Joe Hill-based series, and it's coming June 2nd. And the trailer's up for it, so we watched that before we came on. We knew, obviously, NOS4A2 is, Dracula, it's vampire-related, although this is not exactly the traditional telling of that kind of story. This is an original story that pulls in some of the themes, because we have Christmas Land, we have a chosen one who's there to fight the vampires. What does that remind you of?
Nothing. I think this is a uniquely original idea.
No. There's definitely this girl on the motorbike who's kind of the chosen one. She's been chosen so she can fight NOS4A2.
It's not ringing any bells.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry.
Hit television show, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you bastard.
Just another thing, I just thought, what day is June the 2nd? Because I wasn't sure. It's a Sunday, so they're giving it the prestige slot.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, it got good buzz. The early first episode previews at South by Southwest.
Got so really we're looking forward to it now, obviously.
What did you think of the trailer, though?
I thought it was all right. I think it cut around a bit too much in the back half.
Okay.
But a good sense of tone. You know.
I was up and down in the visuals. I thought there was like some shots that looked really nice. Like there's a scene where in the trailer where she's, our main characters does a lot of, riding their motorbike. And there's a scene where she's like driving through a bridge, and it's like all the lines of light coming through the beams of shadow, and it looked really atmospheric. But there's a couple of other shots where it was like, I feel like this looks like TV, a TV shot as opposed to like a really stylish shot. But that's the sort of thing where if I'm sucked into the story, it won't be an issue.
Yeah, we'll see how it stacks up in the grand scheme of the episode.
Yeah. But no, I heard good buzz. I am. I mean, out of the two we're about to talk about, this one, the next one, this is the lesser of the two, but I am pretty pumped to check this one out, and it seems like the sort of thing that we will be covering, not just obviously we'll cover the first episode no matter what, but it seems like the sort of thing that will be a keeper.
Yeah, we expect to be covering it. There's no guarantees, of course. Just because it's got buzz doesn't mean that we'll agree with that. It's happened before, but do we expect that we'll enjoy it enough to keep doing it?
Yeah. And then the other one was Amazon's Too Old to Die Young, which is directed by Nicholas Winding Refn, co-written by him and Ed Brubaker. This is coming June 14th, so our summer's starting to look pretty nice. So a trailer came out for this with this news as well. Miles Teller's in there. Miles Teller, you got Jenna Malone in there. It is a meaty trailer. It's a good 3 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Do you know what I liked about this? Because obviously I was expecting some synth and I was expecting like coloured lighting, and there's a lot of coloured lighting.
That's what you're saying there.
And we got some synth at the end, but it kept the synth and still the credits. That, when it started saying Miles Teller, it was ramping up to the end of it.
But then it came in. It's like, yep, this is what I expect.
It saved the reference for the end, and it's not just about this is what I expect. It's more about, it's almost like they knew to hold it back. Like it actually made like a point of like using that as the punctuation of like, here's what builds the hype at the end of the trailer. But that said, there was some more kind of like operatic stuff in the middle.
It was
with the sort of the aria singing, which I actually also thought was really stylish. This might be my most anticipated show of the year. The only thing that probably beats it is maybe Mr. Robot Season 4, assuming that even comes this year, which this is a later story. I can tell you about that later.
Okay.
But there's something else that we assume is coming this year that, given when it's shooting, I don't think is.
Okay.
But it's not Mr. Robot. It's something else. But it made me think about it.
Am I going to be crushed when I hear this news story?
You'll be annoyed. I don't think you'll be super shocked, but you're going to be a lot annoyed.
Okay. No, I think my one concern going into this has always been Refn is such a stylish director and relatively abstract.
Mm-hmm.
How does that hold out over 8-10 episodes, whatever it is, versus 2 hours?
Can I give you a comparison here?
You can.
The return of Twin Peaks was 18 hours held over. It was literally just a Lynch movie held over 18 hours.
It was. But that had the benefit of already having TV to fall back on. There was a Twin Peaks show, which is very much traditional TV with the characters, so it had that going into it already.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong, it was still abstract. I'm not arguing with you. This obviously doesn't have that attachment to go off of. I think the one thing that makes me go, no, it's going to be okay, isn't Refn. It's that Brubaker's handling the scripting. The idea that, there'll be something there a bit more tangible to give it episodic feels, because Brubaker, he comes from comics. He's very good at serialized episodic storytelling. So that's my hope, is that that'll give it just enough structure to feel like a TV show.
I don't care if it was a TV show. I will happily take a 10-hour Refn movie.
I bet you will.
It's just cut up every.
That's part of my concern, because it's Amazon. It's like, it's just all going up anyway. Just do what you want.
I won't even complain. I will
I always complain. I'm sure I mentioned it in Twin Peaks. I always have a problem when it doesn't feel like an episode.
I will take it gladly. I will take my 10-hour Refn movie.
I say that as someone who loves Refn. For some reason, I've still not seen Neon Demon. I've just never got around to it. But every other Refn movie that I've seen, which is most of them, I think.
Refn is glorious, and I even like Only God Forgives, which a lot of people, because that came out after Drive, and people, everyone like Drive's the one that kind of broke into the mainstream, where even people who don't like arty films also like Drive,
Yeah.
but then they tried to go watch Only God Forgives, and they were all just like scared off by how weird it was. And I'm like, yes, this is so weird.
I really like Only God Forgives, but it might be my least favorite at the same time.
It may be my least. I'll have to think about. I have to think about the rest of his films, but
I'm just thinking. 'Cause I definitely like Drive more. I like Bronson more than it. I like Valhalla Rising more than it.
I like Bronson more. I think Bronson's probably his weakest for me.
See, I said that until I rewatched Bronson about a year ago, and I liked it a lot more that second time round.
Neon Demon's fantastic. So
yeah, I do need to get to it. I can never find the time, and I just need a good excuse.
But yeah, so trailer looks fantastic. Again, it's a lot of very stylistic, moody shots. It's got that kind of thing where Miles Teller's kind of doing the Ryan Gosling from Only God Forgives, where he's just kind of staring into the distance, and there's a little bit of his narration.
He's a bit of a dick
Happening. We have
playing to his strengths.
What seems to be a story about a cop who falls in with all these bad gangs and stuff in LA, who then ultimately, led by John Hawkes as a mentor, decides to start taking out bad people. That's what I got from this trailer. He eventually
feels
starts.
like there's going to be a bit of a gang war going on.
Yeah, but like I feel like the core of the story seems to be him doing this honourable thing, or at least in his eyes. I mean, you can argue how psychotic it might be in the grand scheme of things, but at least in his eyes, it's going to be this honourable, like, I'm going to try and take out all the bad people.
Yeah, I'm with you. No, I agree.
To be.
Looking forward to that. I mean, what 12th of June? Did we say? Was it 14th?
14th.
So for us, that's like the weekend before, we'll have E3 and all the joy that brings us, and then we'll get through a few days, and then come Friday we'll have a show to enjoy. So
I don't know. There's no Sonic conference. E3 is going to be boring this year.
They'll do one of their new direct things. State of play. That's what they're called.
I wanted to briefly mention Apple TV Plus, since that technically had their thing since the last time we had news. I don't really want to talk a lot about it, because a lot of it was just fluff. A lot of it was Spielberg coming out. Which, by the way, can I just talk about the fact that Spielberg right now is in the news about trying to ban streaming movies from
awards,
the Academy Awards, and then like a week later is on stage for Apple talking about how great streaming is. I just want to point out the weird duality
I will
of
say
that.
I mean,
don't get me wrong.
It's easy to read that hypocrisy, but he is doing a TV show.
No, he is. He's doing a TV show, but at the same time, it's still weird. Like it
is.
Like just pick your brand.
Monies.
What?
Apple got the monies.
Sure, of course they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, just there was some confusion when this news came out, and including myself and including Connor, because Connor was complaining about something, and it's just the news was just confusing. It made it unclear. The service is launching in the fall. It's launching in over 100 countries in the fall. It's launching on multiple devices, not just Apple devices. It's on a bunch of them. But the reason why this is confusing, you're saying what's confusing about this, is because all the news stories were talking about how the app is launching in May. The only thing that's happening in May is that the app on Apple devices is going to be there technically from then. Because what part of the features of this Apple TV Plus is that it's going to also let you kind of like feed in other services, so you're just watching everything through their one app.
Amazon do it. It kind of reminds me of Amazon's channels.
Yeah, kind of. Except I think like this, whereas this also like incorporates like, because Amazon channels, like, they specifically have to set up the channel, like the companies, right? They have to like if HBO are doing a channel on Amazon, they have to set it up. This is not. I think this sounds more like, no, if you have an HBO subscription, this will just kind of take it and.
Yes, I
because
think so.
On Amazon channels, you have to specifically pay for it through channels. You don't get it just access. If you have Shudder or whatever, you either pay for Shudder and get it on all the other ways on the Shudder's app, or you pay through Amazon and just get it through Amazon's Prime Video.
Which I assume is a little bit cheaper.
I don't think it is.
Actually, no. I just assume that. That would make sense.
I don't think it is. I think it's the same price.
Yeah, fair enough.
From what I remember. So that's the only thing that's happening in May. The May part of this is actually really boring. It's just on Apple devices, the app's going to be there a bit earlier. The actual service with all the shows is all coming in the fall, and it's launching in 100 countries, basically worldwide. later in the year, which is not surprising. We expect it to be global because it's Apple, and the whole idea was that they want to launch a global service.
Didn't tell us how much is coming at launch.
They didn't, no, but they showed off quite a lot of, like, they had Jennifer Aniston on stage. They had Spielberg, we said they had a lot of people coming out and talking about shows. I mean, we know they've got like 20 shows.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything that we didn't know about.
There wasn't, no. There was no surprises.
Yeah.
So it was basically just a big fat flashy way of saying, here's all the things you know already. Here, we're confirming it's coming this year.
So it's an Apple conference.
It's an Apple conference, yes. I concur with this. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's called Apple TV Plus, which is funny to me because Disney's right now is called Disney Plus. Plus seems to be the thing now.
I don't know why just Apple TV. I mean, I guess because Apple TVs are a thing.
Yeah, it's because they've already got a device called that. That's why.
Yeah.
Whereas, because one of the things is they specifically pointed out, no, this app will now be available on like their competitors' devices. Like, then it'll be on the Fire HD stick. It'll be on whatever. So.
It was really interesting to me they didn't mention Windows when they listed all these things. Because they talked about it'll be on Roku, it'll be on Fire Sticks. There was not a single mention of it being on Windows. I
think, given that iTunes is on Windows, I think it will be.
I would hope so. It was a notable omission.
I think it will be. Or at the very least, there'll be a web browser version you can watch it through.
I would hope so.
And that's how they'll get around it if you want to watch it on a Windows PC. But yeah, so there'll be options. There'll be options that aren't ridiculous, which is nice. But so that's coming fall 2019. So look forward to that.
Which is about when we're expecting the Disney service as well.
Oh my god, are we going to have like rival services launching like within like a month of each other?
I think we might.
That'll be interesting from like reviewing the first like show or two from each one and being like, okay, how does Apple's shows compare to Disney's new original shows, and like what do they feel like?
Yeah.
Especially since these are the two services that are both saying nothing higher than PG-13. These are both like the more family-friendly services. That's very curious to me.
And it'll be interesting. Obviously, Disney, I assume, will get better in terms of sign-ups. I assume they'll come out the gate stronger because they have
IPs. They have Star Wars. They have Marvel. They have whatever.
Yeah.
Apple's going for the. Which is why it's weird to me that Apple's doing this PG-13 and under thing, because it feels like Apple should be going for the prestige. They should be saying, we are the high-class product. We are, HBO is to cable TV what Apple is to streaming. That's what I feel, to me, that's what they should be going for. That's what their brand should be. But
yeah, but they're not going in that direction at all.
But we'll see how it goes. So we'll move on into the actual news. We have some casting for various things up first. The Cowboy Bebop live-action series has found its main cast, at least most of it. John Cho, Mustafa Shakir, Daniela Pineda, and Alex Hassel have all been cast. Cho will star as Spike Spiegel, described as an impossibly cool bounty hunter with a deadly smile, a wry wit, and stale to spare. He travels the solar system with his ex-cop partner Jet, pursuing the future's most dangerous bounties with a combination of charm, charisma, and deadly Jeet Kune Do. That's a made-up thing, isn't it?
It is, yes. It's a martial arts.
I need to go open a door for a cat before I describe the next characters. What's your thoughts on John Cho as the main character? Go.
Well, it's honestly the only one I have an opinion on because I know who John Cho is compared to the rest of them who were just a list of names, which is unknown to me. It's not to say that they're good or bad, but John Cho I like a lot. I never would have thought about him for this role, although I'll be honest, I'd struggled to think of anyone for this role.
Now that I'm back over at the mic, you actually know one of the other actors as well.
Do I?
Yeah,
I don't by name then.
Mustafa Shakir is Big Mike from The Deuce.
Okay. I like this casting.
Oh, you like this casting?
I like this casting.
Shakir will play Jet Black, one of the few honest cops in the solar system before an ultimate betrayal robbed him of all that he loved, forcing him into a vagabond lifestyle of hunting bounties to put food on the table. Jet is an inveterate jazz enthusiast and captain of the Bebop. Is the Bebop the ship then, I guess? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because obviously Bebop is a type of jazz.
That makes sense, yes. Pineda will play Faye Valentine, described as a bold, brash, and unpredictable bounty hunter suffering from amnesia after years of being cryogenically frozen. Faye does whatever it takes to survive, whether she's lying, stealing, or just being a thorn Spike in Jet's side.
she's kind of an awful character in the best possible way.
Okay.
You'll like her.
Hassel will play Vicious, described as a man who thoroughly enjoys a good kill. Vicious is the Syndicate's most notorious hitman. I assume the Syndicate is the villainous team.
Yeah, pretty much.
Group. He's also Spike Spiegel's ex-partner and arch-enemy. So I'm intrigued by this show, and what's funny is that this confirms to me that I'm not watching the anime, because I want to experience this vanilla. I want to experience
That'll
this fresh.
be a really interesting set of reviews. You know, me who's the fan has seen it. You haven't seen nothing. See if it works for both of us. Because sometimes not having seen something, it works better for you. Like we're reviewing Hannah at the minute, and neither of us have really seen the movie, and we've been quite enjoying it so far. And I think we're both quite glad we never saw the movie.
Yeah.
Because I assume this is better, honestly. And
it was Saoirse Ronan in the movie, so I assume she was pretty good in it.
I assume she was pretty good, but it was never, hugely popular, was it? It was around, but it was never like, oh yeah, a must watch.
Anyway, moving on next. This is not that exciting casting wise, even though it's cool in terms of like some fan casting of like characters who are or actors who are associated with a certain brand. Because Adrian Barbaro has been cast alongside Tobin Bell and Giancarlo Esposito in an episode of Creepshow. And Adrian Barbaro was in The Fog. She was in a bunch of horror stuff. She was in Creepshow itself, the film from 1982. Which is why this is kind of a cool bit of news. The reason why I'm really bringing this up though is just because I feel like we've not really spoken about the Creepshow TV show.
I forgot it existed, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's Shudder that's doing this. Shudder are doing like the new Creepshow TV. It's an anthology, so it's another horror anthology series.
Just what the world needs.
I'm sure me and Tim will probably try this. I know Tim's a big fan of the movies. So I just wanted to bring that up. And it's an episode that Greg Nicotero's directing. So.
Do we have any idea how Shudder releases their original content? Is this going to be like a binge, or is it weekly?
I think it's binge.
Okay.
I think it's binge, but
I have no context for Shudder.
I've not watched a show on Shudder, but I think it's binge.
Okay.
Next up, Paul Schneider, who you may know as Mark Brandanowitz from Parks and Recreation or from the first season of Channel Zero. Along with Jonathan Pryce, who was apparently on Game of Thrones, he's an older dude. They're set to lead roles opposite Rebecca Hall, who's already been cast, in Amazon's Tales from the Loop, which I forgot this was happening, and I'm reminded and excited. Based on the acclaimed sci-fi art of Simon Stalenhag. It comes from writer Nathaniel Halpern, director Mark Romanek, and Matt Reeves' Six and Idaho production company. Tales from the Loop explores the town and people who live above the loop, a machine built to unlock and explore the mysteries of the universe, making things possible that were previously relegated to only science fiction. In this fantastical, mysterious town, poignant human tales are told that bear universal emotions and experiences while drawing on the intrigue of genre storytelling.
Okay.
I recommend looking up some of this art. It's really cool.
Okay.
It's really,
have
really
we
cool.
spoken about this before? Because it sounds familiar to me.
We have, yeah. There's a tabletop game based on this art as well, called Tales from the Loop.
Right, okay.
And that takes more of a Stranger Things. Like the characters are all a bunch of kids.
Yeah, I think I remember you telling me about this before, actually.
Whereas this, it doesn't seem like it's taking that. I mean, maybe there will be kids in it, and they've just not mentioned them yet. But this sounds like it's just taking the art and doing its own thing with it instead, which is also interesting. It's fascinating to me that just someone's art has inspired this, and the idea that the art is so consistently of the same style. It's like, no, this is a sci-fi visionary kind of thing.
Okay, I'm taking a look at it now. I'm down.
Yeah, it's cool. It's got like a. It almost feels like what someone might have envisioned the future to be in the 50s, like when they were like saying, "Oh, what do you think it'll be like when we have all this technology?" And
it's because there's all this mundane, normal stuff, and then just something that's extraterrestrial or really futuristic in each of the images. So, they'll be just like, I'm looking at one now. It's just a normal house. You're looking at an old car. And then these huge spaceships up in the sky. Like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, so that's happening. Next up, Netflix have given a 10-episode series order to Q-Force. This is a half-hour show, by the way, this is first here. It's the only half-hour show we're talking about, in fact. It is a gay spy half-hour animated adult comedy from
That
Sean
was a
Hayes
lot of words.
and Todd Milner's Hazy Mills. Written by Leadman, Q-Force is about a handsome secret agent and his team of fellow LBGTQ super spies. Constantly underestimated by their colleagues, the members of Q-Force have to prove themselves time and time again as they embark on an extraordinary professional and personal adventures. Do you know what the best part of this is? Is that the he's taking his headphones off. I kind of want to tell him this, so I'm going to wait until his headphones are back on. So I'm just going to sing whilst Connor's finding booze because he wants to drink for this, and he's back.
I'm doing my bit.
So the "and personal" is actually in brackets. It's not even like in the sentence in the traditional.
They did that
sense.
just to annoy me, didn't they?
They did.
Like they know they're fans of the show, and they just knew what they were doing.
So that's Q-Force. That's the thing. So here's the next thing. So normally these stories, now it turns out this actually has a show attached to it, which is usually the rule for me including this kind of story. This is big enough though that I didn't even before I knew there was a show attached to it, I thought this is still worth mentioning.
Interesting.
But Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy have signed high-profile deals with their company Killer Films with Amazon. Now they have previously been with Warner Brothers. That's where Westworld, for HBO has happened, and they're still working on that. And it mentions here the third season is out of production this spring, and I'm like, that's not coming this year. They're not even starting shooting it yet.
Production, meaning that it's not even started writing yet.
No, the production doesn't necessarily mean that. Production can mean the shooting.
I mean, it could, but most times when TV reports talk about it, that usually ends up, that's when we get the writer's room images.
You may be right, but production in the traditional sense is there's a pre-production, production, and post-production. So production to me means the shooting. Usually
I would agree, and whenever we're talking about movies, I agree with it. However, I feel like all the time on TV shows I hear, right, this is what we're starting production, and then it gets to that time and I get, here's the first image from the writer's room.
Yeah, like, so expect that in 2020. So that's not coming there, but they're still going to be working on that. And there's actually still another show that they've got in development at Warner Brothers that they're still going to continue with. Like it doesn't erase anything that's already started, but they will now produce and write original content for Amazon. So so between Tales from the Loop, between Too Old to Die Young, and all these other things coming, Amazon are
Lord of the Rings
making more plays. No one cares about Lord of the Rings. It's fine.
They do.
So
they all care.
They're working on shows for Amazon, and they actually already started developing a sci-fi drama. Yes, sci-fi drama. The creators of Westworld did sci-fi on Amazon. It's called The Peripheral. And The Peripheral, being developed at Amazon, is inspired by Wilson Gibson's novel of the same name, and it's being produced by Warner Bros. So this is actually still with Warner Brothers, but it's also Amazon. So this is like a weird marriage of the past and present deals. The novel focuses on Flynn and her brother Burton. Burton is a veteran of the United States Marine Corps Elite Haptic Recon Force.
That's a lot of words.
Burton is hired for a security job that takes place in what he thinks is cyberspace. When Flynn temporarily takes his place, she witnesses something that may have been murder. And also, what's not in there, because the actual article didn't have a description of what this book was, so I went hunting for it. There was a lot more, but the other thing I want to mention along with what I just said there, because a murder mystery is definitely the core of it, and it's set in the future, but it's set in two futures, not alternate futures, but there's like near future, and then there's also like really far in the future. Okay. So
you're saying the people who do Westworld are playing with timelines? Is that what you're telling me?
And cyberspace.
Yeah. Okay. Basically, what you're telling me is Amazon have confirmed that they're keeping my Prime subscription forever.
Yep. And expand season 4, just for the record.
Hell yeah.
Hell yes, indeed. Excited to see what they do there. Paramount Television and Anonymous Content, in association with Brillstein Entertainment, have acquired the TV rights to Susan Orlean's bestseller, The Library Book. Published in October by Simon & Schuster, Library Book tells the true story of a fire that nearly destroyed the Los Angeles Public Library on April 28, 1986. The fire burned for more than 7 hours, consuming 400,000 books and damaging 700,000 more. More than 30 years later, the mystery surrounding how the fire began remains. The book has spent 6 months on New York Times bestseller, or non-fiction bestseller list, to be accurate.
Okay.
I like the title. It's a good title for what it's about.
Yeah, I give that. I'm not sure I'm super interested in the show itself.
It depends how good's the mystery to this. Like,
yeah, and there's no answer.
mm.
So are they making one up, or is it just we're going to leave it open?
We're going to have multiple solutions, and it'll be
pick your favorite.
Paramount Television has landed the rights to a follow-up novel to Sex and the City. It's called Is There Still Sex in the City?
Probably.
Which is set to be released by Grove Press on August 6th, so it's not even out yet, this book. So same author as the original book, Candace Bushnell. The new book take a look at sex, dating, and friendship in New York City after 50. So that's the real difference, is the characters are all in the 50s.
Here's the real question, though. Did you know that it was based on a book in the first place?
I had no idea.
Me either.
No idea. Set between the Upper East Side of Manhattan and the country enclave known as the Village, the book takes a look at love and life, marriage and children, divorce and bereavement, as well as very real pressures on women to maintain their youth and have it all. So it's
Sex in the City for old people.
But they're in their 50s instead of what were in the original show, the 30s, maybe the 40s. I don't know.
Probably. I don't know.
What a shock! We've never watched Sex in the City.
I can picture like one poster, and that's about it.
For the movie? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right. Netflix have announced 3 new Italian originals. There's not a lot for each of these. Just minor descriptions for 2 of them, then like nothing for the third one. But Curon, in which a mother and her teen kids return to a mysterious hometown village in northern Italy to discover what lies below the surface of her past. So not a lot to go on, but a mystery. You know. Next one is called 3 Steps Over Heaven. Originated as a movie hit in Italy and then was adapted in Spain to success. In the series, which will transpose the Italian film setting from Rome to a backdrop of motorbike racing in the Adriatic coast, an undeniable attraction will bring together 2 characters, Sally and Ale, from different worlds. So this is, a romance story.
Yeah.
Not our sort of thing. And finally, Netflix acquired the rights, adaptation rights to Fidelcia. How do you pronounce it? I don't know. I don't speak Italian. Which is on the shortlist for Italy's top literary prize. I tried looking up this book, but it's like just came out like in the last couple of months in Italy, and I was having a hard time finding like a just nice, concise description of what it was. So
Wiki didn't have one.
No, Wiki didn't have a page for it.
Understandable.
I think I found like the page I found was like buying the rights for it to sell it, like to publish the book in like your country, because it was like rights are gone in these countries, but these are still available, and I'm like, I've never found this website before. This is weird. But the description was like, it was like an essay. It's like, no, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. So yeah, not a lot to say there, but they're making more original content. There was one article that was like 4 more original like French Netflix shows, but they were all documentaries, which is why we're not talking about them. But just to mention that they're ramping up content. They've got new hubs, production hubs that are making in all these places. So
that's cool.
Next up, Showtime has given a series commitment and opened a writer's room for a spy thriller called Intelligence, a real-world scripted drama from the Oscar-winning filmmaker Mark Boal, who worked on The Hurt Locker and Zero Dark 30. Obviously not director, because the director of both of those was, of course, Catherine Bigelow, but I assume a writer on those.
I would have assumed so, yeah.
Yeah. So this is his first time working on TV. He's going to write and direct Intelligence. It's based on real stories from around the world, which will explore the secret inner workings of power, how espionage intersects with politics, finance, media, and Silicon Valley, and professional and personal lives. I'm kidding.
I went to read through it then, just on instinct.
The first season will dramatise the behind-the-scenes history leading up to the 2016 US election, with each subsequent season looking at a major world event through the lens of covert operations. This doesn't interest me at face value, but because he's behind The Hurt Locker and Zero Dark 30, I have to give it a bit more,
Honestly,
attention.
I was going to go the other direction.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for me, that's like, okay, I know I'm not interested.
Did you not like those movies?
They're fine. I get why people like them a lot, but they're not for me.
I don't know if without Catherine Bigelow though, this guy's worth looking at.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see, but that's kind of that. And then last up on the news this week, like I said, we're in a quiet period, but Vikings and the Tudors creator Michael Hurst has teamed with the Sherlock producer Hartswood Films and Wild Bunch TV to remake a mini-series of Dr. Zhivago, which of course, I mean obviously it's a classic novel, but most people will know the 1965 David Lean film. The 3.5 hour long or whatever it is. It's a lot.
Yeah, that's why I've never seen it.
It's a long. I have seen it, and I remember it being quite good. It's one of those big 60s movies where it's like this get a big budget in the 60s, so they've got a lot of extras. They've got all these a very wide film, very beautiful sets, and like, a lot of effort went into it. A lot of effort.
Oh, I don't doubt that. I'm sure it's very good. I just finding the time.
Yeah, so it's been produced by Hartswood Films, who are also producing the BBC drama Dracula that's coming up soon. Not that this might not be for BBC. We don't know where this is going yet. This is just production companies.
That said, I can see this on BBC.
Oh, you can.
The BBC love their miniseries.
Yeah, this is going to be an 8-episode story, which, given how long the movie is, that makes sense. I feel like you can technically take that, expand it a bit, and you've got 8 episodes. Like, it's not that much of a stretch.
But 8 episodes of 50 minutes is basically just 2 of the movies.
Pretty much. In the epic tale of love, war, and revolution, Hurst will bring Pasternik's book to the screen, depicting the drama and immense scope of the Russian Revolution through the story of the gifted physician poet Zhivago. I don't know why I hesitate
every
there.
time. Every
Zhivago, the revolutionary. What was this? Strelinkov and Lara. Lara's so easy compared to Strelinkov. The passionate woman they both love, caught up in the overwhelming events of politics and the war that will eventually destroy him and millions of others, Zhivago clings to the private world of his family, life, and love, embodied by the magical, embodied by the magical Lara. So, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I care about a new version of this. I did like the movie when I watched it, but
yeah, it's interesting though, isn't it?
I think I liked the movie for the the direction, the production value more than I did what the story was. But that doesn't necessarily mean they can't do it again on TV. Where they
it could look good, and it's been long enough that, and it's a different format that it's. I'm not annoyed that they're retelling it.
I'm pretty sure there was a miniseries in the early 2000s, so it's not been that long since the last time. Yeah.
Okay, well I forgot that existed clearly.
Yeah, but yeah. So that's the news.
Yeah.
That was a short-ish episode.
Yeah.
Ish.
Should mention what we've been watching though, because we've had some new stuff.
Yeah, in terms of reviews, going up before this goes up, the first episode of Warrior from Cinemax. The review of that first episode will be up.
Yeah. Earlier in the week, we had the first 2 episodes of the new Twilight Zone.
Yep. So we checked out that. So those are both up. Of course, if you're wanting the audio feed for these, you'll get that on the Almost Cancelled TV Reviews audio feed. Netflix shows, of course, are on the Almost Cancelled Netflix Reviews audio feed, which, of course, we've been working our way through the OA, plus Sabrina's Part 2, I'll call it. So that's what it's... They're not calling it Season 2, it's Part 2.
I love how you're so annoyed about this one, but OA, you had no qualms calling Part 2.
That felt like a creative choice. Whereas this is like, no, we kind of commissioned it as one big season, then split it in 2. But it makes it murky for what the next part's going to be called, so... doesn't really matter. Anyway, so the so the first episode of that's already up. The second one might be as well by the time the news goes up. So look out for that if you enjoyed season 1 of Sabrina. But it's not Connor on that though. Tara's filled in for him, and although that's actually why we had time to do Warrior, so it's benefited in the long run that there's more content going up, because the load's been spread out a little bit. So, but yeah, check it out. So yeah, a lot of TV reviews going up.
Hannah's still been carrying on as well.
Yeah, we just did episode 3 of Hannah. It's been a bit slow for the first couple of weeks. We should be speeding up a little bit though, after the always done.
We have a new show from Netflix starting next Friday that we're going to try.
A zombie show.
A zombie show called Black Summer. We had a trailer up at some point. It looks all right, potentially.
But yeah, So that is us. So, of course, let us know what you thought of the news in the comments. You can like and subscribe, all the usual stuff. You can get us on the Twitters at mail_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the show and the channel and everything we do here, you can go over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. You get some stuff early, you get bonuses, you get extras. Almost cancelled in 121 Extra is a rotating show where every month, we'll either do Almost Cancelled a TV topic, 121 Extras a movie topic. Those rotate month to month. You get that in the $1 tier, as well as now you get an exclusive episode of Streams After Midnight for $1 a month in the same tier. And starting next month, there'll be the new show, The Ace, the Atomic Cinema Experiment sci-fi podcast. There'll be a bonus episode of that in the $1 tier as well. So you get a lot for your $1, but of course there's the $5 tier as well with more stuff, and then there's the big ones with the ridiculous producer credits and all the rest of it. But go have a look and see if anything strikes your fancy, and if you want to support everything we do and keep the content coming. But otherwise, that's us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV. Have you got any vanilla?